Welcome back, everyone. Well, this week on A Look at Seniors, we're going to talk more in detail as to what we've been referring to as this 800-pound gorilla in the room when you're talking about aging and aging in place and independent living. And joining us again from the Alzheimer's Association is Kim Hance. Welcome back, Kim.
Thanks.
And welcome back to Lois Celeste, who's the Executive Director of the Saratoga Senior Center.
Thanks,
Welcome,
Jesse.
Lois. We heard from some viewers about this. You cannot talk about seniors without having a conversation about Alzheimer's. Now, when we approached the subject last week, sent out a lot of valuable information, but this week, let's drill down some more. Let's get into the specific signs of it, and then some of the steps you can take.
Sure.
So, Kim, let's start right there. Some signs.
So some signs would be simple, not simple things, but a lot of times people say, well, it's typical aging, and really kind of being able to ferret out some of the very specific signs that we see. So things like poor judgment, decision making. It could be somebody being taken advantage of a scam, but you see those repeated behaviors and repeated incidences happening to people. That's very common. Also, not being able to manage a budget. That's really typical for us to make a mistake in the checkbook every now and then, missing a payment, but for someone who repeats missing payments or even doubling up, tripling up on payments, that's really a good sign that something's going on and that needs to be further investigated. Losing track of the date, season, normal for us to kind of say, oh, I wonder what day it is. But for somebody to repeatedly ask what the date is, what the season is, maybe they end up somewhere and they're not sure how they got there. That could definitely be a good sign. Difficulty having a conversation, forgetting where they are in a conversation. It's very challenging for somebody to process a lot of information coming in when they have memory loss. So a sudden stop in the conversation and really not being able to follow maybe what some other friends are saying, and then you'll start noticing people to start withdrawal from social situations, things like that. Those are really some big signs that we see with folks.
Got it. And it's something that really affects a large portion of the population, and whether you're the person that's suffering from it or you might be a child and seeing that in your parent or a friend. We've had conversations before about a friend of mine, and what I noticed was that, and we all seem susceptible to it. I think the example we used last week is, you go in a room and you think, man, what am I doing in here?
Right.
So many of those things, but when you see the repeated instance of those things happening, and then in my own particular case with a friend of mine, he went into denial.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, Lois, you see a lot of people every week. You see this firsthand, right?
We see a lot of it, unfortunately. People come in on a daily basis and we'll start to see the changes. Little things like Kim talked about of, how did I get here? Or I meant to go to a different building, or I lost my keys. Forgetting, a lot of the folks that come into us will remember their routines every day, but it's the little things, the short-term memory of how did I get here, and we'll pick up on it. We know the folks, we know everybody, so we'll start to pick up on it. Oftentimes we'll contact the families, or I'll reach out to Kim to get involved. She comes to the center. But we really do see it, and it's sad.
Well, you know what? I know that it's probably very, very sensitive. Now, you're a real pro. You spot this. You get to know these people. The center is really a social scene for elders and a sense of community and whatever. And you probably see that they go into that first sense of denial. Oh, no, it's nothing. And you almost have to. Now, Kim, you're there every week.
Correct.
So that's a wonderful opportunity for the two of you to get together to discuss the situation of some of the people, right?
And I bounce it right off of Kim. I'll bring something right to her. Oftentimes when we call the family, we'll make recommendations on where to go from here, or I'll try to connect them with that. But sometimes family lives far away. And they don't see it as much as we see it. We have the luxury sometimes of seeing these folks every single day.
Right.
So being able to pick up on these little nuances and trying to be aware of what the signs are. And is this just normal aging? Like you said, we all walk out and say, oh, what did I walk out of my office for?
Yes, right.
As opposed to something a little bit further along.
Right. The repetitiveness of seeing it is probably really something.
And it's really the things that disrupt your daily life. It's really when you start seeing somebody is really not thriving the way they were, and you can really mask these symptoms very easily via a phone call, the doctor's office, I'm fine, everything's great, I feel
right.
good, I'm following everything that I need to follow. I mean, children call and say, are you taking your medication? Of course I'm taking my
Yes,
medication.
right, sure, part of
then
that
they come for a
denial,
visit
right?
and they
Yeah.
see things all over the place, and
Yeah.
then it's like,
Well,
oh,
you know
no.
what? Let's say you spotted the signs, you see what
Mm-hmm.
it is. What are the steps that people can take? Kim, I'll start with you. Because
really-
it sounds to me like you're talking about a diagnosis of some form or another.
Absolutely, and we really do drive home getting an accurate diagnosis through a neurologist, and really a specific neurologist that deals with memory issues. Because there are so many other things that also can cause this and can be reversible. A urinary tract infection, you know, a deficiency in vitamins. There can be, you know, even a brain tumor could mask itself as a memory impairment. So there are lots of things. So we really want to make sure that definitively that this is the diagnosis, so that then we can work to, with the family, with the individual, to develop some strategies, some techniques, and really get them connected to the supports that will continue, help them really maintain what we've talked about, being independent, staying independent, but just getting a few little things in there, making some plans so that they can continue their quality of life.
Yes, got it. You see it every day, right? A point you made to me earlier I want to ask you about. A lot of people will immediately go to their primary care physician, right? And of course, they see so many people, and that's a generic diagnosis, which could miss this by a mile, right? Because you've told me some of the people said, oh, I went to see my doctor, I'm fine.
Fine. And
Yes,
we
right.
know there's something not quite fine there. And it, like Kim said, it could be medical. So you do have to rule some of that out.
Yeah.
But connecting them, again, with a neurologist or the Alzheimer's Association, and they trust us when they come to us. And
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
the
I'm sure
families
they do.
trust us a little bit.
Right.
You know, they're in there, they know it's a safe place for their parents. So us being able to make the referral and work closely with Kim, we've added in the past year a lot of services and programs around Alzheimer's because we're seeing people transition from an independent lifestyle to, you know, maybe having this issue, maybe. So
Right.
bringing programs in that can help people.
Sure. Now, you'll see on the screen throughout this interview, there are two phone numbers, one for Alzheimer's Association, another one for the Saratoga Senior Center. If you see this, or you suspect it, or, you know, you just place a phone call. You said something interesting to me before. They call you up. What kind of advice do they give you? You know, they're scared. Some people are scared. They don't know what to do. They don't want to make a fool of themselves. You know, there are all of these human nature things that kick in. But
Absolutely.
when someone calls you, what do you do? How do you direct them?
So we kind of find out where they are in the journey. People call us in all stages. They call us in the beginning, they call us in the mid, and sometimes we get them at the very end. So really it's to try to talk them through which stage they're at and really put in the most appropriate support services that are appropriate for them at that stage in their journey. And what's really nice with working in conjunction with other community supports is being able to meet with them and then suggest some of the things that will support them and will give them what they need in order to kind of continue a good quality of life.
Got you. Now, as we all know, it's a progressive disease. So when you, the sooner you get to understanding more about it and then acting on it, the better off for that person.
Absolutely.
Sum it up for me a bit, if you can. You've got a diagnosis, you know what you're doing, you get the referrals, you strategize with the
Sure.
families or the caregivers to make certain that the bases are covered and whatever. How does that enhance someone's life at that point?
I think anytime you can be proactive, you're taking charge and you're able to really be in the driver's seat. I think so many times people don't act on this because of the denial sets in because they feel like they're going to lose control. And really what I try to encourage families and individuals to do when faced with this sort of thing is to be proactive. Really surround yourself with a good support system and you know, really work on developing that support that you're going to need because it really is about promoting the best quality of life that you can have.
Well, Socha, we could have you back again, and we probably will. Okay, this subject just does not stop. You know what, sum it up, I think it's take charge. That if it's independence that we're all really striving for whatever period of time in our life, we're able to stay independent. That you lean on others, you learn, and you take charge of your life. So that really seems. Kim, thank you very much for coming in. Thanks for coming in again, Lois. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
And please use the phone numbers on the screen. See this interview again. You can head to our website, looktvonline.com.